This episode is sponsored by a dear friend of the show, Gary at GunCarter420 on Twitch. If you enjoy some great gameplay and some hilarious commentary on games such as Call of Duty, Diablo 3, Dauntless, Elder Scrolls Online, and so many more, follow and subscribe to GunCarter420 on Twitch. That is twitch.tv/GunCarter420. GUNCARTER 420 on Twitch.
Welcome to Be Hero Fights. I'm Tom.
And I'm Brian.
And we are here to discuss
Or fuss.
over two hotly debated, highly related topics.
Last week, we had a great episode of not fighting, actually. We were actually talking about interesting and strange superstitions or traditions from football.
It was a very civilized discussion. Not too much violence that went out. I mean, there was a couple times where we had to throw out some stuff over teams and everything. But overall, yeah, it was a really good talk. A lot of interesting things. I mean, I learned a lot, which is not saying much because I know nothing about football other than I like the Packers because they're green.
You pick football teams like my daughter does.
Yeah.
But it was a great episode, and once again, we want to thank Dan from
Hanging with D's.
Hanging with D's. Yes, I was about to say something else.
You were about to pull a me?
Yes. And Kyle. Zach. Wow.
Goodness gracious.
It's been a long morning already.
And Zach from Wandering Ways. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We had a blast. Hope you did too, and we really appreciate you coming on the show and filling us in with some of the blanks. I think it was a really good discussion.
Yeah, I agree. It was a fun time having you guys on. It was a great discussion, and I always like talking football. So.
Yeah, I think Dan might have gotten a little too comfortable, a little too fast, though. He was calling me out for my debating for Die Hard versus Lethal Weapon, and he said I was wrong. First of all, I'm not.
You totally are.
No. We've already had this discussion many times.
But we have another great episode going to be tonight. But before we go into that, let's go ahead and read the comments from this last week.
That's right. So we asked on Twitter and Instagram, I posted a meme, but the question was, what was the last movie that made you cry? Our good friends from Beat a Dead Source said, probably Coco. That movie hit me in the feels. Yeah. I might have typed the comment wrong, but basically that's what they said. Probably Coco. That movie hit me in the feels. I swear that's not what they said. You know what? I'm sorry if I misquoted you, but you're not wrong. That movie definitely hit me. Inside Out was one that a Pixar related one that definitely hit me.
Yeah, definitely. Pixar, Soul, the one that just recently came out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard.
Yeah, Pixar is great about doing that. Even when some of the older stuff like with Toy Story and such.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still not as much as Infinity War or Endgame, but
it's true. Like we were talking about this the other day. The spoilers, but the Spider-Man scene in Infinity War, that makes me cry every time. Man, cry, of course. Just a light tear. Eyes watering.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
I'm not bawling in a corner or anything. But with all that being said, yeah, Coco is definitely a sad one. So.
But a fantastic movie.
Yeah, for sure. But we had another great comment, actually from here on YouTube, where Dylan commented on one of our more recent episodes about whether it's better to be an independent wrestler or a professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And what Dylan has to say is that he's a huge wrestling fan. Here, guys, love the episode. You know what, Dylan? We love you, and we're thankful for you commenting. Myself, I'm a huge wrestling fan. Tom knows nothing about wrestling.
Yeah.
If it has to do with a sport or getting off of the couch, he has no idea what to do with it. So,
I get off the couch all the time. I'm actually a very active person. I'm at the gym quite regularly, running, lifting weights, and playing basketball. I just don't watch sports.
Anyhow. Well, thank you guys for commenting, and always reach out to us on everything. You can comment us right here on YouTube, or you can hit us up if you're listening to us as a podcast through any of our social medias, such as
Facebook.com/BeHeroMedia, Instagram.com/BeHeroMedia,
on Twitter at BeHeroFights, and of course you can find everything that there is Be Hero at BeHeroMedia.com, including our weekly blogs about everything, including most recently about WandaVision.
That's right. Movie reviews, TV reviews. We're going to be doing some video game reviews as well. We're even going to start doing some old school reviews. We're going to go back and review some things, throughout film history. Both Brian and I are huge film fans, but we haven't seen everything. So we're going to try and catch up on some of the greats and write our reviews well after the fact, from a fresh perspective.
Yeah, it's a great way to go into it, and whether it's something that we either haven't seen in a long time, it'll be a great way to come back to it. There's lots of movies I already have slated for myself to go see that I haven't seen since I was either a teenager or my early 20s, and that was a whole Brian ago. So,
yeah, and I've been very forward about how I grew up and how I didn't start watching movies till as an adult. So I've got plenty from the past that I need to catch up on, and I'm excited to start doing that.
Yeah, same here. All right, guys. So this week we have a great episode that's somewhat of a callback to one of our previous episodes.
Yeah.
This episode calls back to our very first episode of What is Better, Call of Duty or Fortnite?
Yeah. And that was back when we did a poll through Facebook, and the audience, you guys, chose Call of Duty as the winner.
Yeah, good choice, of course.
Naturally.
With that, though, we decided to break that down a little bit farther. Who wore it better, Treyarch or Infinity Ward?
That's right. The two main studios that make the Call of Duty franchise, up until recently, I think they've recently kind of joined forces, but for the longest time, there was kind of a competition, and there was, even amongst my friends, about half of them were all on board for one, because they like zombies, and the other half was all about the modern warfare, and there was just kind of this clash, and I could only play the games that I loved with half of my friends because they were bitter.
Yes, that's how it usually goes, right? But this will be a fantastic fight, but of course, Tom doesn't play Call of Duty because he's a snob.
I used to a lot. I just haven't played much recently. So there's no justifying my actions here.
What I went ahead and did is I reached out to a friend, as I often do, and we're going to have myself and my friend have this fight. Now, my friend is an up-and-coming Twitch star. Plays Call of Duty as well as a variety of other games. Pretty much any game you can think of, he's probably playing it. In fact, I often yell at him to get off of that game to come play Call of Duty with me. Mm-hmm. So I want to introduce you guys to the Twitch player from GunCarter420 on Twitch, Gary. Hey, Gary.
How's it going, guys?
It's going all right, bro. It's going all right. So, of course, you and I have played Call of Duty for several years now.
Yes.
As well as a variant of both of these. So, before we jump in, why don't you run down how you and I met?
So, we actually met indirectly through a mutual friend of ours by the name of Tim. We used to play Blackout a lot, and one day I didn't want to play solo, so I just joined a random duos match and got Tim on. So we ran through that match, didn't end up winning, but we had this group just kind of relentlessly chasing us down. So we had to take them indoors, and we decided to camp out in the bathroom. We had those mines. I forget what they're called. I called them spider mines, but anyhow, we planted those out. While we were hiding out, we could tell the team was trying to figure out exactly where we were. And for whatever reason, they found out we were in the bathroom, but this dude decided to walk in backwards. still to this day, I have no idea what went through that dude's head, but me and Tim just blew him away. And from then on, we've just been playing ever since. That we constantly refer back to that little incident as one of the funniest things we've ever seen in Call of Duty.
That's so true.
Who do you know who walked in backwards?
Oh, some
No,
random dude.
no
Just
idea.
some random dude.
Just
That's funny.
some random person just decided to, instead of
I was hoping to like just
check
call
in
out
the
his
bathroom
gamer
like a
tag or
normal
something.
person, but
Right. I mean, when you got to go, you got to go, right?
right.
And then Tim is my roommate, and I've known him for years. And I know that Gary and him were playing and asked me to join up on him because they needed a third. And then subsequently, we added a fourth on, who is Gary's brother-in-law. And
Yep.
we've been running a squad for 2 years now, 3 years.
It's been at least a couple years.
So, and like this is regular, like every Wednesday, Thursday, it's guaranteed we're going to probably be getting on to play some Call of Duty. And with Gary's channel, it's been blowing up recently. And you play a variety of games, like I've said before, from Call of Duty, of course, to you're on Elder Scrolls right now. But
Yeah.
you were playing, what was that? Cyberpunk 2077,
Oh,
a variety
God.
of things.
Whole bunch. Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, Immortals Phoenix Rising just recently. Elder Scrolls Online just recently got a monthly sub there. If I'm not playing with you guys, it's probably either single player or multiplayer open world stuff.
Right on. And it's a fun time. Like, you used to watch some of these Switch guys play on, and they will, like, occasionally talk. Gary's constantly talking. In fact, I know that he's more than once before have brought in people to help them with things. I know you were playing Dauntless for a while, and there's a number of people that you would help carry through and try to farm materials and things like that. So if you guys want to play a game, want to watch some great Twitch, and then maybe, if you need some help, hit up Gary's Twitch page. Again, that's GunCarter420 on there. And, it's a great watch. Myself, it's one of the things I watch all the time, my own personal Twitch. I have it shared with his. And, Wednesday, Thursday nights, there's a good chance you'll find me on there with him playing. So
I did want to say real quick, like, that is one of the cool things about online video games that is, I would say it's underrated and definitely overlooked by like mainstream media, but like the friendships that you can make with people that you've never met just playing these games are incredible. I was saying before we started this show, one of my great friends is from Wales, and I met him by playing Destiny, and I actually helped carry him. Well, not really. He participated. He was a good team player, but I helped him get through his first like 3 raids on Destiny, and like we've maintained contact ever since. I've known him for a few years now. I haven't actually met him in person, but like we talk all the time. Neither of us play Destiny anymore. But we still keep in contact. So like you can make some really awesome connections and friendships through these games. Yeah, it's awesome stuff.
Oh, yeah. And I love how you're like, yeah, I totally carried. I mean, he participated. I'm pretty sure that's how Gary talks about me all the time.
Never. Would never.
So,
No, but I agree. I played with people around the world. People like I played with a couple Marines stationed in Japan. I played with people from Germany, the Netherlands. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's such a great community out there for gamers and things like that, which Twitch is helping with that so much. So, but that is not our fight this week. No. Our fight is what is better, Infinity Ward or Treyarch. So, with that being said, we are going to have myself and Gary fight, and Tom, of course, knowing nothing of either of them.
That is not true. I know a lot about both. I am actually completely unbiased. I was a huge fan of the Modern Warfare franchise. I played and beat every single thing on Modern Warfare 2 and got all of the achievements on my Xbox 360. I also did almost the same thing with Modern Warfare 3. I'm a huge fan of World at War, the original Nazi zombies on the map Der Riese. They've remade that map a couple times, but the original is still by far the best, in my humble opinion. I am quite knowledgeable on Call of Duty. I don't have a preference, though. So I'm an unbiased judge.
So where Tom doesn't know anything about Call of Duty,
Shit.
we're gonna have him judge for us.
Treyarch's better. That's fine.
So it sounds like Gary's already decided he wants to fight on behalf of Treyarch. So that's what we'll do. We'll have Gary fight on behalf of Treyarch. I'll fight on behalf of Infinity Ward. All right, Gary. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Treyarch?
Sorry?
Tell us a little bit about Treyarch.
Okay. How do I want to go about it? I guess brief overall history of the Call of Duty franchise. I started with Infinity Ward, actually, Modern Warfare 2. Kind of broke away in Modern Warfare 3, decided to come back with Call of Duty Ghosts, and Call of Duty Ghosts almost killed the franchise for me just because of the drastic change in graphics and things like that.
Yeah.
But before Call of Duty Ghosts, I was heavily into Black Ops 2. I think I still had only 2 assault rifles to finish before I got diamond on everything. Black Ops 3 was kind of fun. But Black Ops 4 is kind of where I really got into the whole Battle Royale series. I dabbled a little here and there in Fortnite, but I really got into the whole Blackout series, or
Black Ops.
that whole Battle Royale genre thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that started with Treyarch, really. That's where I made the friends I did online and things like that. So Treyarch for me, really.
Well, it's definitely a good choice. And, both these companies are fantastic in what they do. Where Infinity Ward and Treyarch they've done in gaming in general is amazing. Mm-hmm. But if you look at it, Infinity Ward kind of set the standard for what Call of Duty and really the modern first-person shooter is. Like, Halo took that ball and, ran with it for a long time. But the only competition it ever had ended up becoming Modern Warfare 4, or Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare.
There you go.
Yes. But that was in the first of the Infinity Ward series of that. And then they took it on and then made the little subtitles of the Modern Warfare series. Yeah. And going all the way through. And then Treyarch took on World at War, the original one, with you rather than zombies. And they did a great job too, came up with some great thoughts, but it felt more of a step backwards at the time, more back towards what like Call of Duty 3 was, and Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3 was, where it was not as entertaining. It was very much a military style, like a military piece first-person shooter, and less a entertaining first-person shooter. Yeah. I honestly couldn't tell you what the story is of World at War, but I can tell you every aspect of the story of all of the Modern Warfare series. Yeah. And that's kind of what Infinity Ward has done better. Even looking onto what they've done now. You have Treyarch, who did the Black Ops, so the first of the Battle Royale series that Call of Duty started doing. Yeah. And then Infinity Ward made it better with Modern Warfare. So much, or with Warzone, excuse me. It was so much so that now them and Treyarch are working together to share that content. Now, there's a third party in that scenario. It's Raven Studios. They are kind of the middleman between all of that. But
Sledgehammer too.
Oh, and Sledgehammer. You're right.
Yep.
So, but Infinity Ward kind of set the base of all of that for Modern Warfare, or for Warzone, and it's just run over everything. Like, you look at like HD1Z as Battle Royale, or PUBG as a Battle Royale, which kind of really pushed and became in the genre. Yeah. But no one talks about them anymore, right? You have two options. You're either playing Modern Warfare or you're playing Fortnite. If you're playing Fortnite, you're wrong. So
or you're a kid.
Yeah. And
I couldn't handle the whole building aspect. So
yeah, I'm very much in the same way. When don't mix Minecraft into my Battle Royale game. But that's where I think that Infinity War is the better of the two companies, because they are the ones who kind of make Call of Duty what Call of Duty is. It pushes that envelope for that, makes the better stories, and they make the better game all around. They use very much the same engines now, or similar engines. The new one, Oh my gosh, Cold War, Black Ops Cold War, uh, uses a separate engine, but they are very similar in the engine style and the rendering style. But Infinity Ward is where it's at.
Some points I agree. So they did, I do believe, pioneered the whole first-person shooter franchise. I think when Black Ops 2 came out, that was probably one of the biggest Call of Duty releases ever. And I think it broke records. I forget some sort of entertainment record, but that held for a long time. I've been trying to figure out why, and I don't know if it was the playability, maybe the connectivity or anything like that. But that was, from what I noticed, that was really the first Call of Duty title that I invested time into. I'm really not sure why. Maybe it was how the game flowed. I rarely encountered any glitches. I don't know. That was probably the first deep dive I took. And then from there, I mean, based on my experiences and the people I met and things like that, it seemed like they enjoyed the whole Black Ops franchise a lot more. How do I want to put it? I don't think they ever had any internal arguments either. I think they're a more cohesive team than Infinity Ward. I guess that's a topic for another video, but I know Infinity Ward did kind of get into an argument with Activision and they split up. And I think that is what made the Infinity Ward side of things go downhill a little bit. And that's probably why I'm leaning more towards Treyarch.
I did want to point out one thing that you mentioned there. This shouldn't help either side, but both studios, the Call of Duty franchise brings in so much money. I'm sure everyone remembers Avatar by James Cameron, how much money that made. It was the biggest blockbuster of all time up until very recently, until Endgame.
Yep.
But I don't know if it started with Modern Warfare 2 or if it was Black Ops 1. But one of those games within the first 2 weeks made more money than Avatar made in its entire run. It just dwarfed it.
Yeah. All right, and it is a bit of a difference when you're buying a single copy of a game at $60 relative to buying a movie ticket that, well, actually, no, they're about $60 now. So
yeah, but how many times did they re-release Avatar? Like, oh, but now it's in 3D. Go watch it again. Oh, but now it's in 3D with a better screen that has silver technology and crystals in it to make it more vibrant. Go watch it again. I know people that watched it like 6 times in theaters because they kept like putting out these new promos saying that it made the experience look better, and people just kept doing that. And it was also in theaters for like a year.
Where did James Cameron touch?
I watched it like 3 or 4 times myself.
Yeah.
But with that being said, yeah, like they both made tons of money. You mentioned Black Ops 2, which I know myself, I was waiting at midnight at a GameStop ready for that game.
I couldn't stop playing it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. The story, like the Black Ops story in its own right, is probably the best of the story series that you have with Treyarch, which I think is why that they've done that now. And similarly, Infinity War had some missteps too, like Infinite Warfare and so on. But their stories were relatively all right. Don't get me wrong, Black Ops was not perfect. Black Ops, was it 4? Yeah, Black Ops 4.
Black Ops 4
had no story.
That's another thing I was going to mention too. So I think where Infinity Ward messed up was on Call of Duty Ghosts, and where Treyarch messed up was on Black Ops 4, because they at first they said no, there's going to be no campaign, and then you find out later that they just canceled it. I was kind of disappointed.
I was too. They kind of put some seeds in the story, like they put the cutscenes of the story hidden in the tutorials of each character type you can play.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was odd. But
I would like to ask you both a question to kind of help poke the conversation, poke the bear a little bit, if you will. Um, so with Treyarch, this was something that I remember having conversations with my friends quite a bit. I remember feeling like they did probably the better job at just making smooth, really good gameplay and incorporating really fun game styles like zombies and a couple other things, the blackout and everything. But like they were never nearly as good at storytelling. And when they did tell stories, like with Black Ops 1 and 2, which are their best stories, it like there was actually so little gameplay. It was mostly cutscenes. Like these are huge critiques. So maybe I'll have you talk about that. Brian, I want you to talk about Infinity Ward and the fact that, like, yeah, they're great at storytelling, but they seem to lack in the technical side. Everyone loves the Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. I haven't played the newest one. I've heard wonderful things.
But, it's fantastic.
And I know they've had missteps as well. We talked about Ghosts, but what do you have to say about them being better storytellers, but just not really as good at the actual gaming craft?
Well, why don't you start, Gary, and answer Tom's question?
I think that's a good point you brought up, and maybe that's part of the reason why I was kind of stuck on the Treyarch side of things. So you said Infinity Ward's better at storytelling, but they lack in the technical department, and I'm assuming it's vice versa for both companies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and it kind of shows in the fact that Black Ops 4, no story.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So it was all multiplayer, but it worked really well. Yeah, there's really no argument there.
But how? But for the sake of argument, try and flip it to a positive.
So the positive, I still couldn't stop playing it. Like I said, the people I met, but it probably is most of it being how well the game worked. I guess I don't really know what to say there. I didn't have any problems like I have had playing Modern Warfare, say. It just flowed better. I enjoyed my time more. And now that Cold War's out, I've actually been enjoying more time as well.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that Treyarch has done their stuff, they are very much a smoother game. They generally have a higher quality thing, like less bugs. Where you and I, being the video software developers, that's a big thing for us. Like is looking at things like that, and for an average player like Gary, and especially for a Twitch player, when you're trying to play a game on Twitch. And you want a game that's going to be as smooth as possible. You don't want a game that's going to have it where, like, a weapon is so broken that the artifact is just in your face and you can't shoot, which we have seen with Infinity War. But some of the best parts of a game, like some of the reasons you buy a game of any variety, is to be entertained, to lose yourself in that story. And if your story isn't good or non-existent, then you're not going to have that ability to lose yourself in it. Don't get me wrong. I loved Black Ops 4. Outside of meeting Gary and having so much fun playing the Blackout game itself and then the multiplayer, it was just a fun game, a smooth game. Like there was you would fire a gun and it felt like you were firing a real gun. Like it was smooth. And though you get that in Modern Warfare, you do have the occasional bug, but the game is so massive. There's a huge difference in size of the software too. Call of Duty or Black Ops 4 was, I think, maxed at like 80 gigs of data, but that's like a download for Modern Warfare. So yeah, just because there's so much there, so much content, so much realism, so much amazingness that you can get with that, which is what Infinity Ward does so well. Black Ops and Treyarch have a great way to hide their negatives in the story and sell their positives, which is their multiplayer and some of the game types like
Yeah.
prop hunt or snipers only, which I know me and Gary have been playing like crazy, and things like that. You have all these great game types, zombies even. But if you don't have that story to be that meat of why you want to play it, then there's no real point. As good as Black Ops 4 was, if it did not have that Battle Royale thing, which was kind of brought on later, it wasn't originally part of the original game concept, there would not be like a good enough game for Black Ops 4 to be just a multiplayer. At that point, you're doing
Agreed.
nothing more than
Yeah.
having like a new version of Madden come out every year. So that story is the meat. That's the part you want. That's the reason you pay $60 for a game. That's the reason you play a glitchy game like Cyberpunk 2077, because of the story.
Yeah, I will say to that effect as well. Call of Duty Ghosts, the story was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but what really threw me off, what really killed it for me, is the functionality going from it. I don't know if you noticed, but it's like two different graphic styles entirely, from the campaign to multiplayer, and that's what threw me off. Plus, the perk system wasn't that great. Anyway. Yeah. So I do agree. Infinity Ward does a better job on story, and I'm actually glad to see both studios trying to find some common ground with the Warzone franchise now. I think that's a step in the right direction. I'd love to see more collaboration to get the best of both sides, the functionality with Treyarch and the storytelling with Infinity Ward. I don't know. I think if they could really come together and both work on one Call of Duty title instead of each company kind of flooding the market, so to speak, pushing out a title every year, I think that would be a better, longer lasting way for them to not just make money, but to put a good product out.
I agree. I think if they were able to mix both of the things they do well together, that they could do that. The problem you run into that is as fast as technology is changing, it's hard to keep up as a game company, because an average game, depending on what you're doing, if you're staying with the same technology, it takes about 2 years to make. If you're updating the technology of any variety, you're looking at 4 or 5 years. I'll give you an example. Battlefield just came out with Battlefield 1 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Battlefield 1?
Battlefield 1.
That was more than 2 years ago.
No, Battlefield 1 was the most recent one. Or I'm sorry, Battlefield 5 is what I was thinking.
Okay, I was going to say
Battlefield 5
1 was like 4 years ago.
But largely it's because they had done all that artifacting with Battlefield 1. The same artifacts that you have in Battlefield 1 are what you have in Battlefield 5. Practically the exact same game, because you can do that. But the reason we haven't gotten to a Battlefield 6 is, in addition to the new generation's technology, they're trying to make a whole new engine for it, which means we're looking like a 4-year hiatus between games. That's why they're saying right now it's not even this year. It's possibly end of this year, beginning of next year, that we'll be getting a new Battlefield game. And if you do that as a franchise, you are, in a sense, you're losing money. Where Activision has worked both with Infinity Ward and Treyarch. Treyarch is Activision, but they've worked together with Infinity Ward to be able to make these Call of Duty games, so that there is shared money. So they have been working together, but they haven't been working together on the same title directly, but they share the same technology for most things. If you look at some of the stuff that you see with Black Ops 4, and then, like, especially with the blackout portion of Black Ops 4 to what you see in Modern Warfare, there's a lot of similarities in how they do the artifacting and how they do a lot of the same systems. So that means that Modern Warfare and Warzone specifically probably just updated and added on to the framework that was already there. But when they go to these new generations, you're going to see a bit of a difference. You see it a little bit now with Cold War, where that one was designed to work with the new gens, but also still work with the old gens. The problem is with that one and their technical ability, as good as they are, they they feel like a step back in the quality of it, but it's technically sound for what it does. You very rarely have I seen any bugs with Black Ops, save when we first started playing it right after it came out. It was
Right.
blue screen of deathing us a bunch and kicking us out. But that was only within the first couple of weeks, and that might have been more about something dealing with like server size or something like that. But you really haven't seen hardly anything else since then. But there are still problems that you can get with Infinity Ward, but because the story's there and because they aim to make the shiniest toy, as it were, it makes players want to go back to it and deal with the bugs.
Okay. Let's kind of shift gears just a little bit because we've talked about the campaigns, stories, and obviously the multiplayer. But let's talk about the extra things that you can do. So Treyarch has zombies.
Yep.
Infinity Ward, I don't know what they do right now. I know for the Modern Warfare franchise, they had like a wave thing, kind of like zombies, but you would fight helicopters and everything else, and so you'd try and survive waves. It was their own survival mode. Who has the better, I guess, extra game types?
Go ahead, Gary.
I guess I've played both, and I think I've gotten more enjoyment out of the zombie side. I did used to play, I think it was Modern Warfare 2. They had all of the other like side missions and achievements. You had to get like 3 stars and everything.
Yeah.
The special ops.
I played that a whole bunch. I really enjoyed how Infinity Ward actually did that, where they posted their own records and it allowed you to try to beat them and everything. That was cool. But as far as the most gameplay, the most time I put in, it would definitely have to be the zombies side of things. I think Black Ops 2 had the best. I can't get over that giant machine teleporting into the machine from his foot. Almost finished the Easter egg there, but yeah, I think zombies, we could just get together as a family and just play that for hours at a time. We'd all take turns. Brought my family together, got everyone in the same room. I just got a lot more enjoyment out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the special ops stuff that Modern Warfare has done for Infinity Ward, both on their what they call trials now, because they have a similar thing now for the Modern Warfare. It's called trials, but they still have the special ops, which is the one you're talking about, where you have to go and do a thing, but deal with a wave of guys, and then go do a thing, and then deal with a bunch of wave of guys. And both of those are quite enjoyable. I think they had that too in what was not Infinity War, Advanced Warfare, that they did. That they had a very similar one like that too, and they're quite enjoyable. They just weren't the reason I got the game, so they were like a hobby.
Right.
Zombies, I'll agree, is a game that you're more likely to come back to playing as its own separate title. Dead Ops as well, as a little side tangent. It's kind of like a little nostalgic variant of the zombie stuff that you can do in there, where it's more of a top over kind of almost like Contra style version of zombies. We haven't played it. A lot of those are hidden inside where you have to find the arcade for Dead Ops, but those are fun. So I would think that I probably say that Treyarch did that better for zombies in that, but Infinity War has done a survival thing of their own that's on par with some of the base zombie stuff. It's just the more that Treyarch has worked on zombies, the more that they've gone farther with it.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's go into final thoughts here. Each of you take 1 or 2 minutes and just give your final resolution why your studio is the better of the two.
Go ahead, Gary.
All right. So based on past experiences and for me, it comes down to the friendships I've been able to make. Black Ops 2, God, I probably put like 200 plus hours into that game, just playing away, mastering all the weapons. For me, graphics aren't as important because the what's the best example I can give? It's going to be a separate game, Anthem. The graphics were freaking amazing. I loved it, but that only goes so far if the game doesn't work right. For me, I think the best experience I got out of the whole franchise would be the Black Ops franchise. I'm actually really enjoying Cold War. Admittedly, I haven't even played the campaign yet because I've been stuck on multiplayer in Warzone. But yeah, that's my main focus. I get a lot more enjoyment out of that. Yeah.
Right on. For me, I very much like to have a game that works, so I agree with that statement. But subsequently, I also enjoy a game that has a great story. The reason I go to buy a game is for that entertainment. And again, another bring it back to the same example I had earlier about Cyberpunk 2077. I have a console. I have an older console, which means it broken, right? And Gary has that. If you guys go on, you can see Gary's Twitch feeds of him playing that game. So you can see how broken it is, but the story is so good. It's
really good. Like I said, the graphics are really good. I really enjoy it, but if the game doesn't work right, then it really just kind of takes away that enjoyment aspect and kind of makes me move on to other things.
That's why you put in, 3 weeks worth of time into Cyberpunk.
Yeah. I gave it a good run.
That you did. But there are like so many great games that you can have a perfect mixture of both. Another great game, another great one to watch Gary play on his Twitch stream at GunCarter420 is Ghost of Tsushima. Fantastically built game. There was no bugs that I can remember of any variety. That was probably the smoothest game I've ever played.
That's one of the rare gems. And I think the only feeling similar that I got was Horizon Zero Dawn. But anyway, back to Ghost of Tsushima. The game looks amazing, and it works really well.
Yeah.
That's all I want from a game. That's all I ask. And I realize it takes time and effort. And I believe both studios, Infinity and Treyarch, want to make a good game. And I'm not calling that into question at all. I think it's just really just time constraints and money is what it comes down to. And that's unfortunate. We're talking about another studio here, but Sucker Punch put time and effort, not just because of the money, but they wanted to make a really good game and they had the time to do so.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Ghost of Tsushima wins. Just kidding.
But no, like that was my perfect example. Like that's a perfect game. That's the perfect mixture of these two.
Yeah.
But a game that you will buy, a game that will sell, and a game that looks great when you watch it at BlizzCon or E3 or any of those is the game that looks the best, that has the best and most intriguing story. So, once you're in playing it, and you're getting frustrated because you get blue screened, or Skyrim, which is also one of the most broken games of all time.
It's broken in such a good way.
Yes, exactly. It's broken, but it's become such a meme that it's broken that people got past it. It's such a great story, such a great game that people got past it. And that's the one thing that Infinity War is lacking is always having a perfectly quality game. Their game quality is not bad by any means. Like if I had to put a number on it, 1 to 10 between Treyarch's games and Infinity War's games, Treyarch I probably put like an 8, and I probably put Infinity War like a 6.5. So they're really close in quality of gameplay,
Right.
and the failures that they do have, but the quality of the story majority of the time that you'll see is better with Infinity War than it will be with Treyarch. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I have to agree, and that goes to show in Black Ops 4 there was just no story. Period.
exactly.
That's what disappointed me, being more of a Treyarch fan than Infinity Ward fan. I'm like, what's going on?
Well, where's my story? I want my $60 back.
Yeah.
All right, sir. So what do you think?
All right. So been listening to you guys. I should have asked, but it doesn't really matter that much. I will say I really like the Easter eggs that Treyarch tends to put, especially in zombies. If you remember playing World at War Zombies, there was that hidden song on the Dare Reese map. You had to go activate some things. Like, very few people know about it. In fact, I've still played it. I've been, like, just jumped in with randos, and they don't know about it. And it's like, really?
Oh, yeah. Gary showed me
game's
one.
15 years old.
Gary showed me one on Cold War that we do on the zombies every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's the coffin dance meme.
Yeah.
It's one you can do in there where it's the zombies doing a coffin dance with a loot box, and then like they vanish away, and you open the loot box, and it's the best loot in all of zombies.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about that, so that's not going to be part of the argument. But I do love the Easter eggs, at least in zombies. I don't know if there's any cool Easter eggs in any of the Infinity Ward games, but I do like that. All right, so we've talked about quite a few things. We've talked about how Treyarch is less glitchy. It's definitely a more seamless gameplay, and more gameplay options. Well, not really more options, but just better options, more popular options, like with zombies. Whereas on the flip side, Infinity Ward is really specialized in their storytelling. They still put out a good product, but it may not be as smooth. But if you are into if the story is important, like Infinity Ward really takes the cake, and I think that's why so many people really got into Call of Duty with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, was because of their excellent storytelling. So I liked what you were saying there. This is really close. I think, both of you touched on like the connections that you've made through online. I don't think that really is due to one studio or the other.
Right.
But like, again, those experiences are going to be super meaningful. I think, man, this is really tough because I really liked, and I actually, I've experienced this myself, what you were saying about how everyone just really fell in love with Black Ops. Like, even though the story was more cutscenes than gameplay, like people still really flocked to that game much more than really any of them that I can recall. But I think you're right, Brian. Like, the story is so important, and like, Black Ops 4 lost a lot of people with the story, and even though Ghosts had problems with the graphics, and going from story mode to online gameplay was really an odd transition. A lot of people do go for the stories, and I think this is really hard. I think I'm leaning that way just because where I'm at when I do pick up a game and play anymore, if I'm not drunk playing Halo, I want a story. Halo is for the drunk parties. This is definitely going to be very subjective because a lot of people are definitely in a different boat than me, and they want that competitiveness from the online gameplay. And if that's the case, if that's what you want, then absolutely, I think Treyarch wins. I remember being very competitive with Infinity Ward, though, on Modern Warfare 2. And again, that's the only place that I got the tactical nuke. So, and I hate to use my own anecdotes as like to help sway, but I don't know what to do. So I think I'm going to go with Infinity Ward this time. It's really close. I think that a lot of the hardcore gamers, the very competitive ones, are going to disagree with me, and I'm sorry, but I think I have to go with Infinity Ward in this case.
It's hard to disagree, and the points that Gary's made has been fantastic. And yeah, like Infinity Ward does have the glitches, but I think the story majority of the time surpasses that. But when you buy a $60 game and it doesn't even have a story, it's really hard to come back from that.
I think
I have to agree. The whole no story aspect of Black Ops 4 kind of disappointed me. And admittedly, to go for your guys' side as well, I really did enjoy the story of Modern Warfare. I even took the time to get the platinum trophy on that. So that is where Infinity Ward does have a strength. So yeah, I do have to agree there.
Yeah. One thing that I will say, I think this might have tipped the scales. I think had you also brought up Treyarch's ability to bring in just other things, pop culture. I'm specifically referring to the Avenged Sevenfold music video, animated music video that they did at the end of Black Ops 2.
I forgot about that.
That was awesome. I think had you brought that up and how they are so much more connected to the community by doing things like that, I think that would have swayed the argument for
that was
Treyarch.
so damn cool.
Since that wasn't brought up, I'm going to stick with Infinity Ward, but I think had that been brought up, I think that would have swayed me.
It's true, and there's so many great things that Treyarch has done.
Let me pull out my time machine. I'll go correct that real quick.
Yeah, there's so many great things that Treyarch has done with that too. For a long time with the zombies, especially on I think it was Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, the zombies they had like well-known actors come in to voice the characters, including Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund.
Yeah, no, 1, 2, and 3 had the main actor from Avatar, which we talked about.
Yeah.
I just
Sam
forgot his
Worthington.
name. Yes, Sam Worthington. He's like one of the main characters of that entire story arc.
Well, Sam Worthington is he's Mason.
Yeah,
he's the main character in the first one and second one. His grandkid, I think it is the main kid in the third one. And technically, he's the character in Black Ops or Cold War as well. Like he's one of the characters in there. He's just not played by Sam Worthington.
Gotcha.
Which is the game that had the guy that was in Walking Dead? He played Merle.
Michael Rooker?
I think that's his name. I forget which Call of Duty he was in.
I can't remember.
But that was awesome too.
Yeah,
I'm drawing the blank.
They've had some great ones. Treyarch, even in World of War, had Gary Bloody Oldman in it.
Yep.
Actually, he was in that one and in Black Ops. Now I think about it, because he reprised his role from World of War, where he was the Russian dude. I can't remember his name, but then he plays the Russian dude again in Black Ops. He plays the same character. But you find out that he's a figment
of his imagination.
Of Mason's imagination.
Yeah.
But it was Gary Bloody Oldman. So, but all right, yay! I get another win.
And he's kind of, I almost didn't give him the win because that means we're tied now. But I got to go off the arguments.
But what a great fight that was, guys. First of all, I want to thank Gary from GunCarter420 for joining us. Reach out to him on his Twitch page at twitch.tv/GunCarter420. And it's great. If you guys go ahead and reach out to him and follow on his page, I'm sure he will definitely give you a, hey, thanks for following, some love that way. If you guys need some help, reach out. He'll definitely help you out. He carries me through all of my matches. So
don't forget to hit us up.
Do my best.
Yeah. Don't forget to hit us up in the comments. Reach out to us on social media. We want to hear from you. What do you want to hear us fight about? We've got some pretty cool episodes coming up in the future, but we want to start getting some feedback, some input from you guys on what you want to hear us talk about. Also, if you guys want to be involved in the show, if you want to be a fighter, if you want to be a judge, we would love to have you. Hit us up on our social media, facebook.com/BeHeroMedia, instagram.com/BeHeroMedia.
Right here on YouTube in the comments, you can reach us that way. Also, you can hit us up on Twitter at BeHeroFights, and everything that is BeHero on BeHeroMedia.com. If you have a question or anything like that, there's a section on Be Hero Media known as suggestion box where you can message us there. It'll email us directly, and we can answer any questions you have. If you want to be a fighter, if you want to be a guest judge, or if you just have a thought for a fight.
And if you guys want to help us out, just give this video a like, subscribe, share with your friends. That goes a long way. Of course, we appreciate even just your viewership, but that will help us out a lot.
Yep. And again, go ahead and follow and subscribe on the Gary's as well. Gary, thank you very much for joining us tonight, man.
Hey, no problem.
All right, and then
Thank you.
I'll catch you when I get home. We'll get on some Call of Duty. Oh, wait, no, you got to work tonight.
I do have to work. As a matter of fact, when I leave here, I'll be getting ready for work. So.
All right, man, enjoy.
All right,
Will
but
do.
first, we're going to have
Thanks
you
for
say
having me.
fight on in just 1 second, okay? We're going to say as always, and then you just say fight on. So thanks again for joining us, everyone. And as always,
Fight on.
This episode is sponsored by a dear friend of the show, Gary at GunCarter420 on Twitch. If you enjoy some great gameplay and some hilarious commentary on games such as Call of Duty, Diablo 3, Dauntless, Elder Scrolls Online, and so many more, follow and subscribe to GunCarter420 on Twitch. That is twitch.tv/GunCarter420. GunCarter420 on Twitch.